Shalloners, welcome back. Today I want to talk about some of the things we can learn from everyone's new favorite movie, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Specifically, whether or not you should tell a guy you like him. Because to me, that was kind of like the big sort of like existential question of that movie. Like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I'm going to break it all down. Okay, so there's basically two schools of thought. Obviously, yes and no. For starters, let's say yes. It is a good thing to tell a guy you like him. The positive points on this are what I call walking in the light of the truth. Actually, maybe Oprah calls it that, but whatever, we're like the same person at this point. I believe that we, in all aspects of our life, have a duty to ourselves to look at things the way they really, really are and not lie to ourselves. It's awful when other people lie to us, but it's so much more self-destructive when we lie to ourselves because it goes on longer, you know, and we have no objectivity. Like, I can look at someone who's lying to me and be like, you're a creep, I don't believe you. Of course I believe myself. I'm the most wonderful person ever. So when we like someone, it's very easy to get caught up in that emotion and it kind of like goes on forever. Do you know what I mean? I mean, of course you do. Like, you guys message me all the time. You're like, I've liked this guy for a year, for 2 years, for 6 years. Because it's like, it's almost like you stay connected to someone out of habit. You know, the way you stay angry out of habit or hold a grudge or something. It's easy to do that with love and affection. So laying it on the line and confessing to someone how you feel is a good way to kind of snap into reality. Not always in the best way, because if they don't reciprocate those feelings and if they reject you, that's awful. But it sometimes that is, I mean, not sometimes, almost all the time, we need a reality check. We need to walk in the light of the truth, because while it's terrible to have wasted a year pining over someone and to realize it's not going to go anywhere, it's worse to waste a year and 1 day. Time is the only thing you cannot get back in this life. You can make more money, you can trust again, you can find another boyfriend, another best friend, whatever. You cannot get back more time. And you guys are young. Like, you're gonna look back and be like, I wasted my youth pining over some dickbag who I don't even speak to now. And had I like understood what was really going on there, he was just using me for sex. He actually liked my best friend. He might be a homosexual. He was just a crappy guy all the way around. I could have gotten that time back. But who wants to know that someone doesn't like you? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm like so hot I have to put my hair up even though I look like a potato when I put my hair up. It's like 1,000 degrees in here. Whew. Sorry guys. Okay. So, if you're going to confess to someone, I think it's best. Actually, there's two schools of thought on this, like text versus IRL. So text is good because you can obviously hone what you're about to say. You know, IRL is good because you can really gauge a sense of someone's reaction. The downside is most people, and I'll touch more on this later, when you tell them, I like you, like most guys, they don't know what to do with this information. It's like you just handed them something and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Females communicate to build relationships. Males communicate to solve problems. So if you're going to tell someone you like them, make sure it has like a call to action, because that to a guy is like a problem to solve. Like, I like you and I want you to go to prom with me. That's like a thing that he can kind of get his head around. But if you're just like, I like you, he's like, I don't know how to manifest this into like an action. Do you know what I mean? So say you text him. Say it's however you want to do it, and say he's like, I like you too. And I'm telling you this because I've done this. I've been down this road. I've been down all avenues of every road you can possibly imagine. So believe me when I tell you that all of these experiments, these social experiments, I have conducted on myself and learned the hard way. I'm your romantic guinea pig, okay? So I've done this. I've confessed to a guy how I felt, and he's like, I like you too. And I'm like, really? He's like, yes, I always have, of course. And I'm like, woo! Like I was almost blind with joy. And then you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. He didn't ask me to be his girlfriend. He didn't ask me out on like a real date. He didn't introduce me to his family. Nothing changed. He didn't create a new pattern of communication. He didn't escalate that pattern. And then I realized it's very easy to say anything, to get out of the awkwardness of a situation. There's a reason the phrase talk is cheap exists. And up until that moment, I kind of didn't know what that meant. I was like, yes, talk is cheap. All right. It means that it costs people nothing to just say something, say whatever they want. But to back it up with actions is a very different story. And so I realized when you tell someone you like them, or when dealing with a human of any kind in any situation, don't pay attention to what they say, pay attention to what they do. And what he was doing did not match what he was saying. And that's because those things didn't match. He just didn't like me. I don't know why he said that. Maybe he was scared. Maybe he thought he did like me, but when push came to shove, he actually didn't have it in him to cowboy up and be a boyfriend, and that was just an organic impulse. When something's important, you find a way, and when it's not, you find an excuse. And he apparently found a lot of excuses not to follow through. And I would have appreciated him just saying from the beginning, I'm sorry, I don't like you that way. But here's another thing. A guy friend pointed this out to me one time, and it's rang in my ears for years. Human beings, unless they're completely psychotic and unhinged, will go out of their way to avoid saying the words, I just don't like you. I mean, think about it. How many times have you said verbatim that thing to someone? No. We come up with very ego-saving lies. I'm busy right now. Oh, I'm so stressed with my job. I have no time. I'm still in love with my ex. My mom won't let me. We very rarely are just no, I don't like you. It's not a pleasant thing to say. You know what it's going to do to the other person. It sucks. And guys especially, because they're pretty cowardly, they're the ones who ghost. We don't really do that. They are especially guilty of this. They'll kind of blurt out whatever they have to get that situation over with. Which leads me to why you should not tell a guy you like him. I'm sure if you've watched this channel before, you probably know which side of this fence I'm gonna lean towards. It's the not telling him. Why? Never chase. That's right, Shalloners. Never chase. Never chase. I know that I'm going to get a lot of comments down here being like, well, you know what? I asked my boyfriend out and we've been together so-and-so for 2 years and he's wonderful. I am happy for you. I am. I'm genuinely happy for you. But picture this. Picture instead of me being a dating coach, I was a fitness coach. And picture you being that person in the comments being like, well, you know what? I can eat pizza and chicken wings and ice cream and I never gain weight. So that's what you guys should do. Do you think that's overall good advice to give? Because maybe you are a 1%er. Maybe you found the only alpha male who, for some reason, couldn't ask you out and you have this wonderful relationship and great. That's great. I'm glad for you. I don't think that's best practices to tell most people. And you know why? Because we deserve better. I don't ask guys out, not because I'm shy, not because I'm incapable of doing it or I think he's going to say no. I don't ask guys out and ask them out, tell them you like them, whatever it is, because I deserve better than that. I want a guy who is so crazy for me that he is the one willing to go out on the risky emotional limb, put himself out there, because I want a guy who understands the struggle of being a woman. I want a guy who looks at me and is like, I want to protect her heart. I want her to be safe with me, to feel loved, and to not have any question in her mind, because she already deals so much as being a girl in this world. I don't want to pile onto that. I want to take that burden from her and show her the queen that she is to me. I deserve that. And guess what? You do too. Sometimes people come on this page and like, you're not a feminist. Bitch, honey, I am a full-grown adult. And you know what I've learned? Equality is a myth. I don't want to be treated like an equal. I want to be treated better in romance. You know why? Because the world isn't equal. Pay isn't equal. My physicality isn't equal. I'm weaker and more vulnerable to physical attack. There is not that equality. And I'm not going to pretend that there is. And the place I'm going to start sure as shit isn't my love life. Go chasing boys down. No. And I don't want a guy who believes that there is equality like that out there. I don't want a guy who's like, well, you're a modern woman, pay for your own deals, open your own door. No. Because again, that tells me he doesn't understand and think about the female experience. And if he's not thinking about the female experience in the macro, in the world, in a more existential sense, He's probably not thinking about it on the micro. He's probably not super tuned into what you're experiencing in bed. He's probably not picking restaurants based on what you might like. He's probably not listening to you when you talk about the struggles of your day and what you're going through. Because guess what? He's got it all figured out, doesn't he? He's a douche. He's just a douche. So I don't tell guys I like them for that reason. The other reason is, and I hate that this is true, it just doesn't work. It doesn't, because I like I said, I have done this. I am Shallon guinea pig, okay? And like I said in the first example, the guy I told that I liked him, it like worked, or so I thought, but I ended up so much more confused because what he said didn't match up with what he did. And here's another way it can go wrong. And this has happened a lot, and it's so subtle. It's so subtle. It's so subtle and so quiet, but it's so pervasive. You ask a guy out, or you tell him you like him, or you chase him, you pursue him in a myriad of different subtle but important and significant ways. And he's like, sure, yeah. And like you start dating, and then you're in a relationship. And one day, he just starts to fade away. Texts you back less often, doesn't plan anything, if he ever did. And he just kind of fades out. And I hear this all the time from my friends, from you guys, my own self-talk when I talk to myself in the mirror. It's like, what happened? What changed? Why? And when I really look at it, when I'm really honest with myself, the answer is nothing changed. He wasn't pursuing me then. He's not pursuing me now. All he did was stop reciprocating. All he did was just sort of slide that door shut. Because there's a huge difference between a guy reciprocating, passive reciprocation, I call it, where they're like, sure, come over. Yeah, okay, that sounds fine. He's answering your text, but he's maybe not texting first. He's going to dinner with you, but you always pick the place. He's meeting up, but you rearrange your schedule. That's passive reciprocation. There's a difference between that and a guy who is, like I said, doing that emotional risking, rearranging his schedule, making his time about you, showing you through his actions you matter to him. And that a lot of times wasn't there. And I wasn't being honest with myself because I was afraid. I was afraid of losing him and being alone. And the irony is it happened anyway. And it happened so much worse because I had been deluding myself into thinking I was in a reciprocal relationship this whole time. Because I was giving, giving as we all give to the boys that we love. And I wasn't. And had I not pursued him in those ways in the beginning, asking him to an event I had, what's the big deal? I'm already going. Why can't he just come with me? Who cares? Telling him how I feel, being the emotional risky one. We never would have gotten that far down the road. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't have never got off the ground if I wasn't the one fucking pushing it, And I would have spared myself that. I would have spared myself the time, the heartbreak, and honestly, the embarrassment. Because on some level, I knew. Maybe I didn't know it was going to go bad, but I felt this niggly itch of like, I guess technically I have him, but I didn't want it like that, Like I wanted him, and I always still want him to stand and be like, I love you, and do these grand things. So I would do things to try to get his attention. I'd pick little fights. I'd be really dramatic. Like it was kind of always something because I was scratching at him, trying to get that passionate reaction from him that I wanted up front. And if I had just recognized that that wasn't going to happen, I wouldn't have gone so far down this road of honestly, like I said, humiliation. Who wants to feel like that? Like they're pounding on a locked door. That is not how you're supposed to feel in a relationship. It's not, I promise you, because I've been in both kinds, guinea pig. And when I met guys who it just clicked and it was right, they didn't even leave room for me to wonder about where their mind and their heart was. And that brings me to my third point. When I've gotten to the point where I'm confessing, I'm doing that because he isn't giving me enough for me to feel comfortable about where this relationship is going and what it is. So I'm like, bleh. It's like, I think I need to do this grand gesture to wake him up to how I feel. They always knew that I liked them. Ladies, no matter how slick you are, no matter how slick we all think we are, people know when you like them. They know. Because by the time you've gotten to the point where you need to confess, guess what I bet you've done? Because I've done it too. Double texted, snapped him again, even though he's left you on red, gone out of your way to keep a streak going, told his friends that you like him, hoping that's going to clue him into something. Rearrange your plans completely to see him or be with him or talk to him or run into him. He knows. And if he's not giving that back to you, there is no declaration in the world that's going to make him. And I know what you're going to say. Maybe he's just, say it with me, shy. Maybe he's just shy. Maybe he is. I don't want to date a guy who's too shy to ask a girl out. Why do you? It is not our job to make up the distance between who a guy is and who he needs to be a viable boyfriend in the world. Why do we put that on ourselves? Because you know what? Guys don't put that on themselves. If you kind of boil it down to really base generic terms, it's well, a woman is the one who's supposed to have the babies, right? So if a woman can't have a baby, a guy isn't well, I'll go get a sex change and then you can put the baby in me. No, guys don't close the gap between not who you need to be, because none of us need to have babies. Okay. But if you know what I mean, if we're talking about it in that sense, it's guys don't do our work for us. I'm not doing their work. And you know what? Pursuing a woman is their work. Don't come for me with this feminist shit, because once again, not only do I know my worth, I also know a thing or two about science and biology and psychology. Mother Nature designed our systems for a reason. There is no animal in the entirety of the animal kingdom where the female goes out of her way to chase the male. There's not. Every animal you see, peacocks with the plumage, turkeys with the feather, ducks, lions with the mane, those are all males. You know why they're males? To attract the female in. Forget about the animal kingdom. Let's look at humans. I'm pretty sure the egg doesn't swim to the sperm, does it? Oh, no, it doesn't. Does the vagina go out and get the penis? No, the penis comes into the vagina. These are not coincidences. These are clues from Mother Nature, okay? We need to listen to her. She's not wrong. She's kind of designed some perfect systems here. And again, factoring all that out, I just don't want to do that shit. I don't want to get involved with a guy who can't go out on the risky emotional limb and who thinks that I am obligated to do that. That's not feminism. That is more oppression. That is adding one more thing to our pile as women. And if you try to talk to me about equality, I guarantee you're probably not out in this world as a working woman. It's real easy to have these ideals when you're still in college and you're kind of ensconced from the world. I'm not trying to be hateful, but I was that way too, you know? It just doesn't work. So yeah, that's my stories, and I'm sticking to it, ladies. You are worth more. You are. Please don't tell yourself that this guy you like is the last guy, is your last chance or your first chance or your only chance. He isn't. The worst thing you can do is make a fear-based decision. And like I said, the reason I was grasping at these guys is because I was afraid. I was afraid to lose them. I was afraid of what that would make me look like. Am I unlovable? And he embodies this idea of what I want my life to be. No. He's going to save me from myself, my loneliness, my unpopularity, my self-esteem issues, all of it. No, he won't. You save yourself. You are your own knight in shining armor. You are your own prince rescuing someone from a tower. You are your own noble steed and sword of justice. No one else is. We can't rely on anyone for that. Because then our whole life is turned over to the hands of boys. That's awful. And girl, that ain't feminism. You're worth more. If you guys have questions, leave them here in the comment section and click like and subscribe and follow me on all social networks at ShallonXO. And if you have more questions on this topic or to all the boys I've loved before, also, Sierra Burgess is a loser was stupid. Sierra Burgess she is a loser and she's a bitch. Don't catfish people. It's terrible. If you want me to do a video on that too, just let me know. Anyway, love you, Shalloners. Talk to you soon.